back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. If you are new, my name is Natalie. I do a lot of college videos, lifestyle, productive videos. So if you're into that type of content, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button, and we are almost at 2,000 subscribers. So it would mean a lot to me if you subscribed, give this video a thumbs up, and comment down below if you're new to this channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I take notes on my iPad Pro. I did a video like this almost a year ago, and that really took off on my channel, and it really just made my channel blow up after that. So I figured I would do an updated one because it's been, you know, a couple semesters, and I did that video when I first got my iPad, so I was kind of new into the whole note-taking situation, but now I think I got the hang of it, and I have a certain technique and style that I do. And I also use Goodnotes 5, and I also use PowerPoint as well. So those are the two apps that I mainly use all the time for my notes. But we're just gonna go ahead and jump right on in. First things first, I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about my iPad. I have the 11-inch 64GB iPad Pro, and it's in space gray, so it's just a dark gray color. This is what the back looks like. And then I also have the iPad Pencil 2nd generation, and then on the iPad Pencil I have this silicone sleeve, which I recently just got. I got it from Amazon, and it really just helps me grip my pencil a lot better. And if you're someone who takes notes a lot on the iPad Pro, this is something I kind of recommend. It does feel nice on your finger. And then on my iPad Pro, I do have a screen protector. It's a matte screen protector, which is why you kind of see that reflection on here. It's the paper-like screen protector. You don't have to get one for your iPad. I personally recommend it just because I noticed when I first got my iPad, I didn't have a screen protector until about probably the end of last year is when I got it. But I noticed after a while my hand would get stuck to the glass from writing. It would just kind of get sweaty, and it would get stuck to the glass a lot. So I was I'm just gonna get a screen protector. I also got it from Amazon. I will link all of the products that I'm talking about in the description down below. You guys can go check that out. And then as far as the case that I have, this is the Apple Smart Keyboard Folio case, and it looks like this. And then when you open it up, it does have a keyboard, which is really nice. And then the iPad is magnetic, so it sticks right here. And I'm going to put that on. So it's like that. And then you can also adjust it to this first setting or this second setting, which is normally what I use. So that is my iPad Pro. 64GB is plenty for me. I've had this iPad for over a year now. I've had it for a little over 3 semesters, if you want to include summer classes. So that's a little bit about my iPad. I do have a whole video on why I chose to buy an iPad Pro and all the pros and cons that I think of it. I will link that up here. You guys can go watch that. But we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the notes of my iPad Pro. Alright, so I'm going to open up my iPad, and the first thing you can see, I do have some folders up here. This is my school folder. Anything school related I have in here. So here's Goodnotes 5, and then this is Goodnotes 4. They're basically the same, just little updated version. This is when I first bought my iPad Pro. I did have Goodnotes 4, and then eventually I upgraded to Goodnotes 5. There's not a huge difference, just some minor updates. So eventually I did update to Goodnotes 5. This is Canvas. This is how I access any homework assignments or lectures or any grades or PowerPoint slides that I can download to my iPad. Here's PowerPoint, and then here's Word, and then here I have my online ebooks. So the main two apps that I use for note-taking are Goodnotes 5 and PowerPoint. So Goodnotes 5, I have all of my handwritten notes. So here's the spring 2021 semester. If I click on it, here are all my notebooks. So if you click this new button, you can create a new notebook. So here's a bunch of different notebook colors, options, patterns, And then I normally use the squared paper A4, but you have other templates that you can use. You also have some planner templates, so you can make a planner in Goodnotes 5, which is something that you cannot do in Goodnotes 4. So I thought that was pretty cool. You don't have to like buy a whole separate planner and then like download it to your iPad. So I'm going to show you some of my handwritten notes in my audit class. So if I click this 4 square picture right here in the top left corner, these are all the pages I have in my audit notebook. Now I do have outlines, so it's kind of like a table of contents. It just kind of helps you get to wherever you're going a lot faster. So like if I'm looking for chapter 2, I just click chapter 2 versus if I were in the thumbnail, I would have to search for chapter 2, like going through all these different pages, if that makes sense. So highly recommend adding some outlines to your notebooks, and you can just do that by hitting the top right corner. It's like a 3 little dot button, and then you hit add this page to outline, and then just the title of the page that you want. So it's pretty simple. So I'm going to show you my chapter 2 handwritten notes. I do have some PowerPoint slides in here as well. So here are some of my handwritten notes. I do have some color options and thicknesses that I use for my notes, and I will get to that in a second. Here's an example. I do have some graphs in here. I drew that one. So that's a good idea for you guys. So first things first, I'm going to start a new page down here, and I'm just going to do current template. I'm going to click on it. So you do have different pen options right here. You have a fountain pen, so I'm going to write it out for you. I'm actually going to use this zoom button, which is what I use whenever I take my notes. Helps my writing get a lot more precise and just more neat as well. So this is what the fountain pen looks like, and then you also have a ball pen, which I personally don't like. I feel like it just looks sloppy, and I just personally don't like the ballpoint pen. And then you also have a brush pen, which is mainly for calligraphy. As you can see here, if I push my pen down, it makes it thicker. If I use light pressure, it makes it thinner. So I always use the fountain pen. It's just what I prefer. And then you have different pen thicknesses up here in the top right corner. So the 3 pen thicknesses that I use are 0.5, which is a medium size pen. So here's 0.5. That's what that looks like. And then I have 0.45. And then I also have 0.8. So I normally use 0.8 for any like headings or titles. And then I use 0.4 for like the body. And then I use the 0.45 for any subheadings. Obviously I was writing in the brush pen, but if I were to use fountain pen, it just looks like this. That's why I just prefer the fountain pen over the brush pen, but you can use the brush pen for like any titles if you want to get kind of creative or whatnot. And then you have this eraser option, so you can erase the entire stroke, or if you have that turned off, you can just, you know, erase like that, which takes forever. I just have the entire stroke on. And then you also have this erase highlighter only, so if I were to, like, let's say write something, say I want to write my name, and then I want to highlight it. Let's say I want to erase the highlighter but not the pen. The eraser, and it just erases it, so it just erases the entire stroke, which is really nice. And then for the highlighter, I do have 3 different highlighter color options. I have the light pink, I have medium pink, and then I also have dark pink. This is the color template that I use for my notes this semester. And for thicknesses, I have the smallest one, which is 2. The medium one is 4.25, so it looks like that. And then the biggest one is for 5.85, which is normally what I use whenever I write like my headings. So if I'm writing like, let's say chapter 2, I will use the thickest and the darkest color just to kind of make it somewhat cute. And then for like the title, I will use the 0.5 for the title of the chapter. And then I'll use this to move it in the middle, just like that. And then for the bullet points, I use the highlighter and I use the darkest pink and I use the 2.0. So it kind of just creates this little bullet point, if you guys can see that. And I just literally just hit it on the screen. And you can do different colors or different sizes if you really wanted to. But that's what I use for like bullet points if I'm writing any information. And then when I do vocabulary words, I normally write it in pink. So this would be like the vocab word. And then for the definition of the vocab, I will do it in black, just to kind of make it a lot easier to go back and read whenever I'm looking at my notes. So that's what I do. You also have the shape tool. So if I were to draw a triangle, it's going to make it like a precise triangle, versus if I had it turned off, it's going to be really sloppy whenever I draw it. You have this lasso tool, so you can move things around the page, which is really nice. You also have this picture. You can import different pictures on here if you really wanted to and make them smaller or big. I think I hit the button too many times. And then you can take pictures. You can also add text. So if I wanted to add something, I can choose a font and start typing. And then you can just move it wherever you want and then adjust the size to make it bigger. Just like that. So this is where I do all my handwritten notes. And then as far as like PowerPoint slides, I've noticed not every PowerPoint slide imports correctly in Goodnotes. Sometimes it changes the like words or the graphs around in Goodnotes. So any PowerPoint slides I normally use in PowerPoint. So on here I have some PowerPoint options. I'm just going to pick a class. This is what it looks like. I can also turn my screen sideways if I really wanted to. And you do have different pen options here. You have a highlighter option as well. So let's say I wanted to like highlight something. You have different color options. If I wanted to highlight that. And then I can write something on here like to focus or study that. I can do that as well. So I use PowerPoint for any PowerPoint slides. So like this is for an example. If I were to download this in Goodnotes, sometimes it moves things like on the wording in Goodnotes, which kind of annoys me. So I always use PowerPoint for PowerPoint slides. And also another cool thing too, whenever I'm taking notes on my iPad and like let's say I'm reading a book, I can drag the book and make it a split screen. So if I just drag it, the book comes right here. This is my ebook, and then if I really wanted to, I could take notes on my iPad while I'm reading. This is something I always use whenever I'm reading my book. I just think it's so awesome. You can also change the thickness of the split screen, or if I wanted to make the book bigger, things like that. So that's something really cool that you can use. And then I can also export these pages and share them to people, like I can email it to someone or put it on a Google Drive or something like that. Other than that, that is how I take notes on my iPad Pro. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!